Doctors have been telling you to stay out of the sun for 40 years. Cover up, wear SPF 50, that is sun prevention factor, that blocks 98% of UV light. It's a lotion people apply on their faces for such an outcome. And avoid peak hours, they say. And in the same 40 years, autoimmune disease has tripled. Chronic infection rates have climbed. The average person's immune resilience has collapsed. And nobody in a white coat has connected those two facts out loud. Here's what they haven't told you. In 1918, during the deadliest pandemic in recorded history, field hospitals that put patients outside in direct sunlight had death rates half of those indoors. The outdoor patients survived at twice the rate of patients kept inside. The data was published. Take note, the lesson was never institutionalized. It wasn't. What you're about to hear is not an alternative medicine. It is published in Harvard epidemiology journals. It is backed by 30,000 person Swedish study. It has been replicated across multiple research institutions. It explains precisely, mechanistically, why countries above 45 degrees latitude see infection mortality rates 40% higher than sun-rich nations. The information exists. It just hasn't been convenient for anyone to tell you. Because the sun is not just light. It is the one signal your immune system was built to receive. And someone made sure you'd stop using it. And that's what you're about to find out. Chapter 1. The industry that sold you half a truth. Your immune system is not broken. It is starving. Not for the supplements lining those pharmacy shelves. Not for the immunity blends and elderberry gummies and zinc lozenges. But starving for something that costs nothing. And the multi-billion-dollar wellness industry has spent decades training you to avoid. Here's the thing the sunscreen industry will never put in an ad. Sunlight is not just UV. Only 40% of sunlight is visible. Another 5% is ultraviolet. That's the part that can burn you, reasons every dermatologist rightly warns about it. But the remaining 47% is infrared, invisible, unfelt. It does something inside your cells that no supplement on the shelf can replicate. Your immune cells have a fuel source. The fuel source is manufactured inside your mitochondria. That is the energy generators inside every cell in your body. And infrared light is one of the only known signals that directly recharges mitochondrial functions in your immune tissues. It means that the strong yet invisible light powers the engines called mitochondria inside your defensive war machines in your body. So what does the 47% actually do? What is happening at the cellular level every single time infrared light touches your skin? The answer is something the supplement industry would pay a very large amount of money to make sure you never understood. Chapter 2. The infrared discovery. Dermatology built an entire specialty around 5% of the sunlight that can damage your skin. That's not wrong. UV damage is real. But while the field grew into a global industry, the science on the other 47% was quietly accumulating in pulmonology labs and immunology journals. And nobody synthesized it for the public. Dr. Roger Swelt, a pulmonologist and intensive care physician who spent years treating immune collapse in critical care, did that synthesis. And what he found changed how the science reads. Infrared light penetrates 8 centimeters into human tissue, deep enough to reach your lymph nodes. The lymph nodes are like the battalion deployed around your neck, groin, armpit, chest, and abdomen against bacteria, viruses, and external matter. Lymph nodes are incredible. Now, infrared reaches your bone marrow, your major blood vessels, the tissues where your immune cells are manufactured, stored, and deployed. When near-infrared wavelengths between 800 and 1000 nanometers hits the mitochondria inside your immune cells, they trigger local melatonin production, but not the melatonin you're thinking of. At concentrations 20 times higher than anything your pineal gland produces at night. And melatonin, okay, is a sleep chemical released by your pineal gland in your brain. It simply tells you it's time to go to bed. But then, this is produced in your cells 20 times, not 20% higher, 20 times the concentration, produced directly inside the cells that need it most, by the light that 40% of every sun exposure delivers, the part nobody told you was there. But here is where it gets uncomfortable. Melatonin, the exact molecule that infrared is triggering in your immune cells, is already sitting in a bottle on that shelf. So why doesn't taking it work? Because everything you've been told about melatonin is almost entirely wrong. And that misunderstanding has been worth $600 million a year to the industry that is selling it to you. Chapter 3. The $600 million misunderstanding. The supplement industry built a $600 million annual market around melatonin as a sleep hormone. Take it at night, fall asleep faster. That's the entire product. What they never mentioned is melatonin's primary biological role has nothing to do with sleep. Melatonin is one of the most potent antioxidants your body produces. Its actual job inside the mitochondria of your immune cells is to protect those mitochondria from oxidative damage that accumulates every time an immune cell mounts a defense. Take the melatonin as a maintenance screw in the mitochondria. Anytime your cells use a mitochondria for energy or defense, there's a little rust or overheating. So, here's when melatonin steps in to oil smooth the rusty part or cool down the engine that's in the mitochondria. When white blood cells are fighting an infection or any disease, they burn extraordinary amounts of energy. ATP production, that is the batteries in the mitochondria, spikes up. Oxidative byproducts, that's like a smoke in the exhaust, accumulates. So mitochondria takes damage. Without a sufficient mitochondrial melatonin to buffer the damage, your immune cells cannot sustain the energy output needed to win. Dr. Schwell's data shows ATP production in human cells drops up to 70% at age 40. 70. Infrared light directly slows that decline by triggering local melatonin productions inside the cells that need it. Not in the bloodstreams as sleep signals, inside the immune tissue as a protection mechanism. The pill you are taking at 10 a.m. to fall asleep. But if this mechanism is real, if the science is documented, then you would expect to see it in population data. You would expect countries with less sunlight to show measurably worse immune outcomes. Let's get it. In 2016, Swedish researchers published a 20-year study with 30,000 subjects. The results were so stark, they ran the numbers multiple times. Chapter 4. The study they never updated the guidelines for. In 2016, Swedish researchers published a 20-year mortality study. 30,000 women, 2 decades of data. One conclusion so stark that he had to run the numbers multiple times. Women who actively avoided sun exposure died at the same rate as smokers. Not from skin cancer, but from infections, from cardiovascular disease, from all-cause mortality. Avoiding the sun carried the same mortality risk as lighting a cigarette every day. That study was published. It was widely reported in academic cycles. Your GP never mentioned it. The dermatology industry never updated its messaging. The sunscreen marketing campaigns continued unchanged. During H1N1, Harvard researchers went looking for the variables that separated the people who survived from the people who didn't. They controlled for age, pre-existing conditions, access to treatment, viral load, which means the amount of virus that's present in their bloodstreams. Yet, one variable outperformed all of them. People in the lowest vitamin D quartile had a 3.7 times higher mortality rate than the people in the highest quartile, meaning low vitamin D levels, higher chances of dying, and higher vitamin D levels, lower chances of dying. Mind you, not 37% higher, 3.7 times higher. The mechanism is documented. Vitamin D regulates over 200 genes involved in immune response. It activates T cells. T cells are like the detectives in the immune cells that goes to find where problems are, especially diseases. The moment they find it, they blow the alarm. And that alarm is called cytokines. They are molecules that are released into the system after a danger is spotted to deploy immune cells to go fight it. Now, vitamin D calibrates the cytokines response, which means the inflammatory cascades that kills people in severe viral illnesses and parts, vitamin D deficiency is a cause of it. Harvard published this. The finding did not change national sun guidance, neither did it change what your doctor tells you at the end of annual checkup. Harvard researchers corroborated this across multiple pandemics. The further a population lives from the equator, the higher its infection mortality rate, independent of healthcare quality, income, or population density. Countries above 45 degrees latitude show infection death rates 40% higher than equatorial nations. This is not correlation. The mechanism is understood, reproducible, and is already published. For those who would like to give it a try, here we go. Less sunlight, less infrared, less mitochondrial melatonin, less vitamin D, less nitric oxide production, weaker immune response. This advice is Trevor Noah approved. Take it if you want to end up on a comedy hospital bed. Hey, we are in the science world. Let's proceed. The data forms a straight line from a sun exposure to survival. It has been sitting in the academic record for decades. But vitamin D and mitochondrial melatonin are only 2 of the 3 mechanisms your skin activates the moment sunlight touches it. The third one will leave you marveled, one that nobody is talking about. And it explains, for the first time, exactly why the 1918 open-air hospital data was so dramatic. Because the patients moved outside didn't just get more vitamin D, they didn't just recharge the mitochondria. Something happened to their immune response within hours, faster than any of those pathways can operate. Chapter 5. The third mechanism nobody's talking about. Your skin is not a cosmetic surface. It is a functional antiviral organ, and most people have no idea it works this way. Your skin tissue stores nitric oxide compounds. When UVA light, a different wavelength from UVB, that drives vitamin D synthesis, hits your skin, it triggers the immediate release of nitric oxide into your bloodstreams. Nitric oxide is a vasodilator. It opens blood vessels and drives immune cell traffic to tissues under threat. But a more important property in the context of infection is this: nitric oxide directly inhibits viral replication, meaning it prevents them from multiplying. In the upper respiratory tract, where most viral infections take hold, nitric oxide disrupts the RNA replication cycle of multiple viruses: coronavirus, hantavirus a little bit, influenza, and others. At the molecular level, your airway tissue produces its own nitric oxide when exposed to light. Your skin supplements that production systematically. This is why the 1918 open-air hospital patients improved rapidly. Not just because of vitamin D, not just because of infrared mitochondrial recharging. Because putting the body in sunlight activates 3 parallel immune mechanisms simultaneously. Mechanisms no pill, no injection, no supplement protocol has ever fully replicated in combination. The sun is not a carcinogen with side effects. It is an immune system activation signal that your body has been calibrated to receive for the entirety of human revolutionary history. Countries above 45 degrees latitude, that is the entire UK, Ireland, Scandinavia, Canada, and the northern United States, show infection death rates 40% higher than equatorial nations. The data forms a straight line from sun exposure to survival. It has been sitting in the academic record for decades. And here's the part that should make you genuinely angry. None of what I'm about to tell you cost a single penny. No prescription, no clinic, no device, no product. Which is probably the exact reason you have never seen it in a headline. You have been sold a version of health that requires purchasing something. Supplements, creams, devices, and memberships. Every solution comes with a price tag. But the truth of the matter is, the most powerful immune intervention in the published scientific record is free, has no side effect at correct dose, has been documented across 3 separate biological mechanisms, and has been sitting above your head every clear single day of your life. Here is what the research actually says to do. None of it requires a prescription. None of it costs money. Which is actually the most important reason why you've never seen it in headlines. Within 30 to 45 minutes of waking, get outside for 10 to 20 minutes of direct sunlight. No glasses. Glass blocks UVB. No sunscreens for the window. The UV index at 7 a.m. is almost 0. You are not burning. You are calibrating your immune system for the day. Between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m., when infrared's intensity peak alongside UV, get 15 to 20 minutes of direct sun. This is the window that drives mitochondrial melatonin production at therapeutic levels. This is the window that a 1918 hospital exploited by accident. If your job doesn't allow a lunch break outside, protect your commute. Get off one stop early, walk the long route. Even on overcast days where the clouds are heavy, outdoor light is significantly brighter than the indoor light. Your body registers the difference even when the sky is gray. Sunscreen blocks UVB completely. The dermatology advice was never wrong. It was just incomplete. Get your exposure first, then cover up if you are staying out longer. Above 40 degrees latitude, the UK, the Ireland, Scandinavia, Canada, and northern United States, UVB cannot drive vitamin D synthesis at any hour of the day from October to March of every year. Take 2,000 to 5,000 IU of vitamin D daily, combined with K2 and magnesium for absorption. Near-infrared panels at 800 to 1,000 nanometers deliver a mitochondrial mechanism without UV. They do not replace full-spectrum sunlight, but they address the most critical gap for people in high-latitude climates, like we mentioned before. A basic panel is sufficient. The underlying mechanism is real. The consumer market is overhyped. But get outside first. The device is a backup, not the main plan. Your immune system is not failing because you haven't found the right product. It is running below capacity because it has been cut off the signal that it has been built to receive. The door is right there. Open it tomorrow morning. Stand outside for 20 minutes before the sun gets high. Let your mitochondria do the rest. The data has been available for a century. What changes now is what you do with it. Gentleman, pretty lady, little sis and bro, mom and dad, like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.